August 26, 2025. The world awoke to a day that would be etched into the memory of a generation. As the first rays of sunlight crept over the Texas horizon, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. Thick, electric, and impossible to ignore. At Starbase, the sprawling heart of humanity's boldest dreams, the air was alive with hope and nerves. Crowds gathered, their faces lit by the glow of screens and the promise of something extraordinary. Towering above them, Starship S37, perched atop the mighty Super Heavy B-16, stood as a gleaming monument to perseverance. After a year marked by fiery setbacks and shattered ambitions, this moment felt like a turning point, a chance to reclaim hope from the ashes. This was no ordinary launch. It was a crucible for resilience, a test of whether the dream of reaching Mars, and venturing even further, could survive the harsh lessons of failure. Engineers moved with quiet intensity, every gesture a testament to months of tireless work and sleepless nights. Across continents and time zones, millions watched. In bustling city squares and quiet living rooms, people gathered around screens, their hearts pounding in unison as the countdown echoed across the globe. For a brief moment, humanity was united by a single hope. The urge to explore, to push beyond the boundaries of our world, was embodied in this towering stack of steel and fire. It was more than a rocket, it was the vessel of our collective ambition. S-37 carried more than a mock payload. It bore the weight of a program battered by explosions, delays, and the relentless scrutiny of the world. Every bolt and circuit was a testament to lessons learned the hard way. The scars of the past were fresh. Previous starships had failed in spectacular fashion. S-33 and S-34, both lost on ascent. Their fiery trails a reminder of how unforgiving the path to the stars can be. S-35, destroyed on re-entry, its journey cut short just as it brushed the edge of space. S-36, lost before it could even leave the ground, a stark reminder that progress is never guaranteed. Now, S-37 stood at the threshold. The world watched, breath held as the final checks were made. Could this ship break the cycle of disappointment and ignite a new era? The tension was electric, every second stretching into eternity as the countdown neared zero. In the control room, engineers stared at their screens, every heartbeat echoing the ticking clock. This was more than a machine. It was a testament to the power of learning from failure, to the courage of those who dare to try again when the world is watching. Would this be the leap forward that would change everything, or just another lesson written in fire and smoke? The answer hung in the balance. As the engines roared to life and S-37 began its ascent, the world held its breath, waiting for history to decide if this was the moment humanity would finally break free of its earthly bonds. The command was given. In that moment, years of planning, engineering, and relentless testing converged into a single, irreversible decision. The tension in the control room was palpable, every eye fixed on the screens, every breath held in anticipation. In a blinding flash, 33 Raptor engines roared to life, unleashing a torrent of energy that shook the ground for miles around. The sound was deafening, a thunderous declaration that the mission was underway. S-37 and B-16 lifted off, a silver arrow piercing the sky, defying gravity with raw power. The rocket climbed steadily, its engines burning with unwavering intensity, leaving a trail of fire and ambition behind. The world watched as the vehicle soared, passing the critical max Q where others had failed. Cameras captured every second and millions held their breath as the rocket thundered through the atmosphere, pushing the limits of engineering. This time the stack held strong. The structure, meticulously designed and tested, resisted the immense forces that had doomed previous attempts. 3 minutes in, stage separation. B-16's engines shut down. S-37's ignited in a flawless, hot staging maneuver. The choreography was perfect, a seamless transition that marked a new milestone in rocket technology. The booster arced back toward the Gulf, beginning its controlled descent while S-37 pressed onward into space, accelerating toward the edge of the atmosphere and beyond. Every second was a victory over the ghosts of past failures. In mission control, relief and cautious optimism began to replace anxiety as data confirmed each successful milestone. This was more than reaching orbit. It was proof that rapid, full reusability was within reach. The dream of rockets returning, ready to fly again, was no longer just a vision, but a tangible reality. The clean ascent and perfect separation cleared the first major hurdles. Each flawless maneuver built confidence, setting a new standard for what was possible in spaceflight. The stage was set for the real tests in the vacuum above, where the true capabilities of S-37 and B-16 would be revealed, and the next chapter of exploration would begin. S-37's triumph was built not on a string of easy victories, but on a long, difficult road paved with setbacks and shattered dreams. Every gleaming panel and polished weld on S-37 carried the memory of past disasters, the echoes of lessons learned the hard way. Its foundation was a graveyard of wreckage, twisted metal, scorched earth, and the silent testimony of failed ambitions. The year 2025 was especially unforgiving. S-33 and S-34, both promising prototypes, erupted in fireballs just moments after leaving the pad, their hopes dashed in seconds. S-35, after a flawless launch, was lost in a fiery breakup during re-entry, its hull torn apart by the brutal forces of atmospheric return. S-36 never even left the ground. Destroyed in a catastrophic ground test, its remains a stark reminder of the risks faced at every stage. Each failure was public, painful, and necessary. The world watched as dreams went up in smoke, but behind the scenes, every setback was dissected and understood. Engineers pored over wreckage and data, learning from every explosion about plasma, control, and the unpredictable nature of flight at the edge of possibility. They studied the harsh realities of hypersonic flight, where temperatures soared and materials were pushed to their limits, searching for answers in the chaos. S-37, a Block II Starship, was shaped by these hard-won lessons, its design a direct response to every failure that came before. Its hull was stronger, its systems smarter, its very structure refined by the scars and sacrifices of its predecessors. The world saw a relentless cycle of destruction, a spectacle of failure broadcast across the globe, but SpaceX saw something different. Data, progress, and the resilience to keep moving forward no matter the cost. Every lost vehicle was a step forward, not a defeat. Each failure was a necessary rung on the ladder to success, a vital experiment in the pursuit of the stars. The scientific method, test, fail, analyze, repeat, played out on a grand scale, with the world as witness and history as judge. S-37 flew with the ghosts of S-33, S-34, S-35, and S-36, their stories etched into its blueprints and its mission. Their sacrifices were encoded in its structure, their failures transformed into the foundation of its strength. Its ascent was more than a technical achievement, it was a symbol of human tenacity, a tribute to the courage to try, fail, and try again. It was a testament to relentless persistence, to the belief that every setback is a lesson, and every lesson brings us closer to the stars. This is how boundaries are pushed, one hard-won lesson at a time, forging a path through fire and failure toward the future. In orbit, S-37 faced its next challenges, crucial for future Moon and Mars missions. First, the payload bay doors opened smoothly, deploying 8 mock Starlink satellites. This proved S-37 could deliver cargo, transforming it from test article to prototype workhorse. Next, the first in-space relight of a Raptor engine. Restarting a cryogenic engine in zero gravity is no small feat, but S-37 succeeded. These two milestones, payload deployment and engine relight, were quiet revolutions. S-37 showed it could maneuver, deliver, and operate in space. The vision of a reusable interplanetary transport was no longer fiction. High above Earth, S-37 quietly made history. The future of space operations had arrived. Re-entry is the ultimate trial. S-37 plunged into the atmosphere at hypersonic speed, wrapped in plasma. Its survival depended on a heat shield of thousands of ceramic tiles, some replaced with experimental metal, some sections left exposed for data. This was a deliberate high-stakes test. Cameras showed plasma licking at the ship's belly, a dance between control and chaos. The massive flaps, pushed to their limits, steered S-37 through the fiery descent. The ship held together, the shield and flaps performing as designed. S-37 didn't just fall, it flew, using the atmosphere to brake. This controlled descent validated the Starship philosophy. A giant steel vehicle could survive and steer through re-entry. The margin for error was razor thin, but S-37 proved the design's promise. The hardest part was over. Almost. While S-37 danced in orbit, B-16 began its own test. After separation, it executed a boost-back burn, steering toward a splashdown zone in the Gulf. Re-entry burn slowed and guided the booster, showcasing advanced control systems. The final act, a landing burn, with one engine intentionally shut down to test engine-out capability. B-16 compensated instantly, landing upright in the water before tipping over as planned. This was a massive step for reusability, proving the booster could survive failures and still land safely. Controlled water landings are the bridge to catching boosters on land. Each test brings routine airplane-like operations closer to reality. S-37's final test, the landing flip and powered splashdown. As it fell, the ship flipped from belly flop to vertical, relighting its engines in a breathtaking maneuver. The world watched live as S-37 descended, engines firing, legs poised. It hovered, then touched the ocean gently, upright, controlled, triumphant. For the first time, a Starship completed its full landing sequence after spaceflight. The ship tipped over and was destroyed, but the proof was undeniable. The splashdown was a Kitty Hawk moment for reusable spacecraft. The image of S-37 standing tall in the ocean became an instant icon. The impossible was now inevitable. Space travel's future had changed forever. S-37's success was a turning point for NASA's Artemis program. Starship is the chosen lunar lander, critical for returning humans to the moon. Before S-37, doubts clouded the timeline, now confidence surged. S-37's controlled landing proved the system's core principles. With its massive payload, Starship enables not just visits but permanent lunar bases. The moon is a proving ground for Mars, and S-37's flight brought that future closer. The dream of a multi-planetary species felt real again. S-37's flight sent shockwaves through the space industry. Years of skepticism vanished as the landing flip succeeded. Fully reusable, super-heavy lift rockets change everything, costs plummet, ambitions soar. The new space race is about reusability, not just destinations. SpaceX aims for 25 launches in 2025, the next Starship is already in line. The focus now operational reuse, catching boosters and flying real payloads. September 2025 marks a new era. Science fiction is now engineering reality. The journey to the moon and Mars is no longer a dream but an active project. The dawn of a new age has arrived.